It's 2026 and mirrorless cameras dominate the camera market. DSLRs, even though can be credited for making photography more accessible and popular in the post-film era, are not as common as they once used to be. I suppose in some ways that's normal when technology changes. However, DSLRs, unlike some of the other older technology, they still retain some key benefits that make them not only relevant, but also a great alternative to mirrorless if you're interested purely in photography. I mean, Pentax still makes DSLR cameras to this day, and they are some of the best cameras you can buy now for photography. So today, I'm going to share some images taken with this camera, the Nikon D850, both in Greece and here in my hometown of Colchester, and also talk a bit about why, if you're in the market for a good digital camera, you should seriously consider a DSLR. Hey, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. If you're new here, my name is Sathya and I make videos about photography, filmmaking, and creative journey. So DSLRs, especially the ones that were introduced from about 2015 to 2020, had some of the best sensor tech available at the time. And when mirrorless cameras were becoming mainstream, naturally some of these DSLR sensors made their way into mirrorless cameras with some upgrades, of course. Another thing that was cutting edge in those later years for DSLR was the processors that they used. It offered better autofocus performance, faster readout speeds, better buffer, to name a few sort of benefits. Because if you think about it, the mechanical concept of a camera did change in that the big mirror box was removed, so people can use EVF to preview the images before they take it. Bodies became lighter, better video performance, and so on. But the sensor and the processor didn't have to be thrown away. They were just being built on and improved upon to suit the changing needs of mirrorless cameras. Also, we were already a couple of decades into digital cameras at the time, so these two things were in a really good place, which in some ways I would say enabled the mirrorless transition easier. So, I mean, all this to say, if you have any worries about DSLR's reliability or performance, especially the ones from late 2010s, I can comfortably say that most of these were mechanically excellent with good sensor and processing technologies made with longer life cycles in mind. So if you could get one of these in good condition, they would easily last you several years. A good lens is as important, if not more so, than a good camera when it comes to image quality. And DSLRs benefit from a mature ecosystem of lenses that can be bought now for a lot less when compared to their mirrorless counterparts. While there will be optical differences, given that newer mirrorless lenses benefit from more advanced coatings, newer technologies, you can still get excellent image quality out of older DSLR era lenses at a fraction of the cost. Another benefit is if you do change to mirrorless system down the line for any reason, it's easier to adapt these older lenses to your mirrorless system, whatever the mirrorless system is. And most DSLRs are backward compatible with their autofocus and manual focus film camera lenses, which are even cheaper. I use my Nikon film camera era lenses on my DSLR and have used on mirrorless cameras like my Sony FX3 and now the Nikon ZR. And again, they provide excellent image quality. Build quality of a lot of these lenses are quite good, so they'll last you a very long time. And while they're not as clinical as some of the image quality from mirrorless lenses that we've come to expect, they still are very good. I think there is something to be said about cameras as a package and how they've evolved alongside us and the industry. Most cameras try to do everything now, and because camera release cycles can be quite short these days, they have to add sort of incremental changes to be able to sell them to us, whether it's one more frame per second, animal eye tracking, 8K video in 12-bit RAW, and the such, which in reality 90% of us don't need or use. But we still pay for it when we buy the latest and greatest mirrorless camera. But with the DSLRs, you don't obviously get these features, and if these are important to you in what you do daily, then maybe mirrorless is the better option for you, but I'm sure most of us don't need them. So anyone who is not a hybrid shooter and focuses primarily on photography, DSLRs still provide what is needed in a well-rounded package without the bells and whistles. Right, a couple other things. Battery life of DSLRs, no brainer, last you all day and more easily in most cases. Optical viewfinder, very good to feel that connection to your subject and also helps to be more in the moment. I feel like because you're not seeing a digital interpretation of a scene that caught your attention in the first place. And DSLRs generally feature good chunky grips, which translate to better handling across all types of lenses, whereas with mirrorless cameras, a lot of them go for smaller size, and as a result, they suffer from relatively smaller or less ergonomic grips. When we think about actual use cases and the cost of owning a camera system, DSLRs, in my opinion, provide ridiculous value for money in 2026 and for years to come, for a lot of us at least. And if you're on budget, a quality DSLR is the most practical and cost-effective investment without having to make any meaningful compromises in the image quality, especially if you're after photography. If you already shoot with the DSLR, let me know what you use in the comments, and if you can think of other benefits, which I'm sure I've missed, share those in the comments as well. But that's it for this one. Thank you so much for giving me your time. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Hopefully, much sooner than what it took me to make this. All right, thank you. Bye.